Good morning, second graders. Today is Tuesday, January 5th, and we are doing lesson 7-2 today in our math. We're continuing on our lesson about adding and subtracting in story problems. Yesterday, we learned how to write an equation, and we learned that we could put a question mark in the equation for the unknown. And then we look to see if we have a whole and a part, or if we have a part and a part. And remember, if we have a whole and a part, we subtract. If we have part and part, we add. So today, you'll see the page looks like this, and you need to turn to page 286, and 285 will be the solve and share. And then your assignment is going to be 287 and 288. Okay, so let's look at page 286 and read over the visual learning bridge. So it says Sally has 28 fewer blocks than Nigel. Sally has 27 blocks. How many blocks does Nigel have? And the little girl says, let's think about who has fewer blocks and who has more blocks. Okay, so it said, let's go back to the story again. It said Sally had 28 fewer blocks than Nigel. So we know that Nigel is going to have more blocks than Sally. So then if you look at this bar diagram here, it says a bar diagram can help you think about the problem. So the little girl is saying, Sally has 28 fewer blocks than Nigel. That means that Nigel has more blocks than Sally. So you need to add, okay? So then on the part whole mat, look at what they did. They put one of the parts was Sally's blocks. We knew she had 26 blocks. And we knew that they told us that she had 28 fewer blocks than Nigel. So that means that Nigel is going to be the whole up here. And we don't know what that is. And why again? Because it said that Sally had fewer than Nigel. So Nigel is going to have more. So the more is going to go up here in the whole, because remember the whole is always bigger than the part. Okay, so if we know that Nigel is going to have more, that is going to be our whole up here. And now we have a part and we have a part. And what do you do when you have a part and a part? You add them together. So look what they've done. They've said 26 plus 28 equals question mark. There's our equation. Now they came over here and they stacked it, and they added first the tens. So two tens plus two tens is 40. Then they added the ones. 6 plus 8 is 14. And then they added them together. 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So Nigel has 54 blocks. Okay? So again, problem solving is what we're going to be doing today. So let's go to the solve and share and look at that problem. So if you flip your page over to the solve and share, let's look at this. It says Aiden has 27 fewer crayons this week than last week. Last week, he had 56 crayons. How many crayons does Aiden have this week? Show your work. So notice, let's go back to what it's asking us. It's asking us again, how many crayons does Aiden have this week? That's what we're trying to figure out. Now let's see what they told us. Aiden has 27 fewer crayons this week than last week. And last week, he had 56 crayons. So let's see if we can write our equation. So let me get my pen here. And so we're going to start out with 56 because that's what he had last week. So we're going to draw our 56 here, write our 56. Okay, now look it back up to what it says. Aiden has 27 fewer crayons this week. Fewer means we're going to subtract. So we're going to put subtract 50 or 27 because he had 27 fewer equals, and what are we trying to find out? How many crayons does Aiden have this week? So that's the question mark. Okay, so now we look, we have the whole, remember when it's a subtraction sentence or equation, the first number is the whole, the second number is the part. So we are going to subtract. So let's stack it. 56 take away 27. Okay, look at our stack. 6 take away 7. We can't do that because the number on the top is smaller, so we have to regroup. So we cross off the 5 and we make it a 4. And we cross off the 6. Remember, we're regrouping the 10 into 10 ones. You already have 6 ones and you're adding 10 more, so it's 16. Now we can subtract. 16 take away 7. Let's flip it around and let's think 7 plus what gives me 16? Remember, we could ask ourselves, or we could use the double. 7 plus 7 is 14. 7 plus 5 is, 7 plus 8 is 15. So 7 plus 9 is 16. So 16 take away 7 is 9. And then we subtract our tens. 4 take away 2 is 2. So our answer is 29 crayons. Okay, and so that is how many crayons Aiden has this week. 29 crayons. Okay, so we just solved that by writing our equation, looking to see if we have a whole and a part or a part and a part. In this case, we had a whole and a part, so we are going to subtract. Okay, so let me erase that. And then let's look at our guided practice. All right. And I'll go ahead and make it a little bigger for you guys so you can see it better. All right, so now let's look at our guided practice. Actually, hold on, let's look at the convince me. The convince me says, how are these statements alike and different? Cal has 12 fewer blocks than Mia. Mia has 12 more blocks than Cal. Well, how are they alike? How are they alike? If we think about it, we can see that they're both talking about blocks, right? We can see that they're both talking about Cal and Mia in each one, okay? But how were they different? Well, the first one is saying 12 fewer blocks than Mia. And Cal would have less, right? Because he's got 12 fewer. But in the second one, Mia has 12 more blocks than Cal. So again, the second one is showing us that Mia has more blocks again. So that's actually how they're alike. But in the first one, they used the word fewer. In the second one, they used more. So you can write the statements in different ways, using the words fewer, using the words more in problem solving. So let's look now at the guided practice. You don't necessarily have to write anything on the convince me. We just kind of talked about it. But now let's look at the guided practice. The directions say, solve the problem any way you choose. Use drawings and equations. All right, so let's look at it. Lakota has 11 fewer magnets than Jeffrey. Lakota has 25 magnets. How many magnets does Jeffrey have? All right, so what is it asking us? How many magnets does Jeffrey have? Okay, what do I know? Well, it said that Lakota has 11 fewer magnets than Jeffrey. So that's going to go here in a part. Let me get my pen. That's going to go in a part box. And it said Lakota has 25 magnets. Okay. But Lakota, again, let's go back to this, has 11 fewer magnets than Jeffrey. So you know that Jeffrey's is going to be larger than Lakota. So that is our question mark. We don't know how many Jeffrey has. And it's going to be larger than what Lakota has. So the unknown that we don't know is that whole box. Lakota has 25 is going to go in our other part. Okay. So look at our part whole mat. We have a whole that we don't know. That's our question mark. We have a part and we have a part. And what do we do when we have a part and a part? We add it. So go ahead and trace over the 25 plus 11 and we can stack it right here. And this is pretty simple. We're just adding a 1 to the ones column and to the tens column. So 5 plus 1 is 6 and 2 plus 1 is 3. So how many magnets does Jeffrey have? He has 36 magnets. Now we could always check that. We could check it and we could say, okay, is 36 take away 11? Let's do the opposite and just check it. Make sure we're correct. 6 take away 1 is 5. 3 take away 1 is 2. And yep, look at this is the same as this. So I know that I was correct when I added. Okay, so I just modeled for you how you can check it to make sure that you were correct. Okay, you can do the opposite of what you did. So Jeffrey had 36 magnets. All right, let me erase this. And let's look at what you're going to do today then for your assignment. Okay. So for your assignment then, it's same thing. It says solve each problem any way you choose. Use drawings and equations to help. Show your work. So I really encourage you to write an equation again, just like you did yesterday, because it helps you to really see whether you have a whole and a part. So you're going to do 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so let's look at number 2, and we'll do one more together. So it says, there are 28 more students than adults at the school fair. There are 96 students at the school fair. How many adults are at the school fair? Okay, so what is it asking us? How many adults are at the school fair? Okay, so it says there are 28 more students than adults. So if there's 28 more students, which one's going to have more, the students or the adults? Well, if it says 28 more students, it looks like there's going to be more students than adults. Okay, there are 96 students at the school fair. All right, so let's write our equation. We know that there's 96 students so far. That's what it's told us. And we're trying to figure out how many adults. So 96 students, let's write our equation. I got to get my pen here. So we have 96, right? And then it said there are 28 more students than adults. So we're going to have to take 28. We so far have 96 students, and we know that there's 28 more than adults. So we're going to take away 28, right? To figure out how many adults there were. Because remember, it said that there were more students. So this is the biggest number, the students. So we have to take 28 away from 96 to figure out the adults. So we equal question mark. So there's our equation. 96 minus 28 is going to give me how many adults. So now let's stack it. 96 take away 28. Okay, so we say 6 take away 8. Uh-oh, we can't subtract that because the 8 or the 6 is smaller than the 8, so we have to regroup. So we cross off the 9, make it an 8, cross off the 6, make it a 16 because we brought 10 over and added it to the 6 that were already there. So 16 take away 8, that's a double. 8, and 8 take away 2 is 6. So there we go. So let's see if that makes sense. We have 68. So remember that it said there are 28 more students than adults. So we have 68 adults. We have 96 students. So that makes sense that there's more students than adults, right? And we could flip this around and we could make sure that 68 plus 28, we can flip it around and make sure that that equals 96. 68 plus 28, 8 plus 8 is 16. Put your 1 up here. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 2, 8, 9. There it is, 96 and 96. So there are a total of 68 adults. Now remember, this one was a little tricky because it said more. And a lot of times when you see more, you think adding. But you have to look and see which one did they say had more. In this case, it said that there were 28 more students than adults, and there's 96 students. So then you know that, okay, I'm going to have to subtract that because there were more students than adults, right? So you just have to really look closely and see what it's asking you for. So that's what your problems are going to be like today, guys. Reading it and figuring it out. Let's try one more together. I think we have enough time to do one more. It says, Ellie the elephant has some peanuts. Uh-oh, we don't know how many. She eats 49 peanuts. Now Ellie the elephant has 31 peanuts. How many peanuts did she have before? Okay, what is it asking me? How many peanuts did she have before? Okay, so I got to figure that out. What is it giving me? I know that Ellie the elephant had some, but I don't know. Then I know she ate 49. Ooh, if she eats some, that's going to be takeaway. And now Ellie the elephant has 31. So let's write our equation. Ellie the elephant has some. We don't know what that is. So we're gonna make, oops, we gotta make my pencil smaller here. How do I do that again right here? There we go. Okay, hold on, let me erase my little dot. Here we go, try again. Okay, so we're gonna write our equation. We don't know how many Ellie has. So we're gonna put a question mark. We don't know how many she has initially. Then we know she eats 49. So take away 49. Okay, and now Ellie the elephant has 31. equals 31. So now let's look at our equation. First of all, we know we're subtracting. When we're subtracting, what goes first? The whole, and we don't know what the whole is, but we have a part and we have a part. And what do we do when we have two parts? We add them, right? We add them. Again, how do I know I'm going to add them? Because that first number in a subtraction problem is the whole, and we don't know what that is. It said Ellie had some peanuts, but we don't know how many. So if we don't know what the whole is and we have a part and a part, we're going to add. So let's stack it. 49 plus 31. 9 plus 1 is 10. 0 goes here. 1 comes on top. 1 plus 4 is 5. Plus 3 is 8. So Ellie, the elephant, had 80 peanuts to start. Okay, and again, how could we know that we were correct with that? We could take 80 minus 31. Oops, sorry, it looks a little sloppy. And one sec, let me move this little thing up. There we go. Okay, 1 second. Come back to my pen. So this was a 1. So 0 take away 1. We can't do that. So we cross off the 8, make it a 7. Cross off the 0, make it a 10. 10 take away 1 is 9. And 7 take away 3 is 4. And there it is. We have 49. So we know that we're correct. Okay? So let me erase this. So this is what you're going to be doing today, second graders. Reading the problem, looking close at what it's asking you to find out, then looking to see what information you have, and write your equation just like yesterday, and then solve it. If you have a whole and a part, you subtract. If you have a part and a part, you add. Okay? So you're going to do problems again now. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Look at 7. 7 has you using this chart. So it says there are 48 tacks and 48 red tacks and blue tacks in a bag. There are fewer red tacks than blue tacks. There are at least 27 blue tacks, but no more than 30 blue tacks. How many of each color could be in the bag? Complete the chart to solve the problem. Okay, so look guys, look at what you have here. Here's the total. The total is the whole every time. You see that? Oh. The total, let me find my eraser here. There we go. So the total is the whole every time. Okay? And now you're going to fill in the chart. Notice the first one has been done for you. 22 plus 26 gives me 48. But now look at the next one. 21 plus I don't know gives me 48. So what am I going to have to do to solve this one? I have a whole and a part. So I'm going to stack it and subtract it. And the next one, I have a 28 and a 48. I have a whole and a part, a whole and a part again. Then I have another whole and a part, and then I have another whole and a part. So for these 4 down here, from going down from the second one down all the way down to the bottom of the chart, you're going to subtract to figure out your answer each time. If you need to use another sheet of paper, do that. Or you can kind of stack around the chart here and do your work. Okay? So that's how you're going to solve that one. All right, then this last one, you have to figure out where is the equation going to go? What is it going to look like using these cards and putting them in there and then solving. Okay, so should be fun. These problems actually are pretty fun to figure out. It's good problem solving skills for your brain and developing lots of good synapses in your brain, guys, when you problem solve. It's a good skill to know how to do. So see if you can do, again, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, then send it to Mrs. Chase and I. All right, so good job, guys. We will see you tomorrow.